Last month, over on Twitter, I asked some of my followers some of the biggest hot takes coming up for this upcoming NBA season. We're less than a month away from tip-off. I thought I'd share some of these hot takes over here on YouTube. Not gonna lie, some of these takes, yeah, they for sure ain't listen. But we're gonna get into them and see what you guys think. Let's start off with the first one. The New Orleans Pelicans will be a top 3 seed this year. Not gonna lie, the Pelicans look kind of nice. We saw what they did last year. 8 seed, gave the first seed Suns a run for the money. I think with Zion Williamson coming back and from what we've seen from Media Day and him losing some weight, you have Ingram who's gonna make another step. You have CJ McCollum. But I ain't gonna lie, I got 3 teams in the West that I think are going to be the 3 teams to look out for. The Warriors, the Nuggets, and the Clippers. I tweeted this out again on my Twitter account, and if you ain't following my Twitter account, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. But I said that those 3 teams are the most experienced, the deepest, and the most talented rosters to compete for a championship in the Western Conference. But the Pelicans, like the Grizzlies last year that were the sleeper team that everybody didn't expect, I think the Pelicans could have that same success, especially with the improvement of Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and the entire young core that they have on their team. It's not a crazy take. We'll see how the season goes. Our next hot take, we have Karl Anthony Towns will win the MVP award. Not gonna lie, I ain't really feeling that, bro. I ain't really feeling that. Look, Cat is a good player, and I think that he's kind of underrated and overrated at the same time. I think the double big lineup of Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, we don't know how that's gonna look. And I think if it works, you might see Cat actually have even a better season, knowing that Gobert can carry the slack on the defensive end. And I think that Cat is a great offensive player. I think that when you look at the top big men in the league, we have Jokic, we got Embiid, Anthony Davis is gonna be back, and I put out a video about him having a revenge season. I think Cat, depending on how the Timberwolves do, will have a good season. But for him to win the MVP award, he's gonna have to do something even crazier. And I don't know, he'll be an all-star, but MVP is kind of a stretch. I ain't gonna lie. I don't feel it. I don't see it, but we'll see. Next hot take we have, the Thunder will be a 3rd or 2nd seed when the playoffs begin. Nah, all right, yeah. What? Jokic is not the best player in the world and is slightly overrated, while at the same time not getting the respect he deserves as a top 3 player in the world. This kind of makes sense, but doesn't at the same time. We calling someone underrated and overrated at the same time. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's like are we in the Matrix? Like, no, but I understand what you're saying. I think that Jokic doesn't get enough credit just because people don't see the dominance per se from like all the big centers like Joel Embiid or a Shaq. What Jokic does is a floor raiser for his entire team, and with him losing his 2 best players, offensive players, in Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, you really don't get to see the team perform at the highest level that they could be. Let's not forget, when both those guys were healthy in 2020, that team made it to the conference finals. He is a player that is very, very underrated, but I think people overrate him because he has two MVPs. And a lot of centers in the game don't have 2 MVPs. You look at Shaq has 1 MVP. Hakeem has 1 MVP. And now people might come out here and say like he's better than those players. Jokic is a player where I think that a lot of people don't respect his game because you haven't seen that playoff success as of late. And I think now when you finally have his healthy team with MPJ, you have Jamal Murray back, you have 2 better players who can at least give you 20 a night on a good day. I think that you're gonna see Jokic look even perform better. He's easily a top 3 player. People need to stop saying he's overrated because they don't understand his game. With our next hot take, we have Josh Giddey will outperform any of the 1st year and 2nd year players this season. I'm not gonna lie. No. It sucks that Chet Holmgren is going to be out for the entire year because I think that Josh Giddey as a playmaker in today's game is one of the better playmakers, especially at a young age. I do think Josh Giddey has to be so much better on the scoring side of the ball when it comes to being much more of a threat on the outside and putting pressure towards the rim as well. I think that Josh Giddey, if he improves in that area, he's only going to get better. And I've said it before in one of my previous videos. I think right now, if he only stays on the same slope of his progression of how he's going to be a playmaker and how we progress in the league, he's going to be a player that you're going to want on your team as a playmaking guard. And I think there's players just better than him. I look at just this class alone, his own class. I think Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, all 4 of those players and even more players are going to take bigger leaps. But I think that if Giddey wants to take another step, it's going to have to be much more of a threat of scoring the basketball. And if he can also become a 2-way player, which I think he has, defensive IQ, something that you have to develop, but it just depends. He's early in his career. We never know how these players can develop. But I think right now, there's too many younger players that are just better than him at the moment when it comes to all facets of the game. But he is an elite playmaker. Got to give him that credit. With our next hot take, we have the Celtics will not make the playoffs, and Jason Tatum will have a Julius Randle type fall off this season. Let's look at it this way. With the Ime Udoka situation, I made a video on that. Go ahead and check that out after you see this video. The Celtics definitely have some things that are going to be sterling around in that locker room, and not to mention Robert Williams, who I think is one of their backbones on defense along with Marcus Smart. Losing him for the first 2-3 months of the season, is going to be an issue. I think he played a big factor, especially with them making that turnaround last year on a defensive end. I think there's some things that they're going to have to work on. This isn't the same team from last year, especially when we looked at them a few months ago. They had just added Malcolm Brogdon. They had their entire team. They had Danilo Gallinari. Gallinari's going to be out. Ime Udoka's gone for this. We don't know what's going on with that situation at all, but he's gone, and Robert Williams is going to miss part of the season. I think that the team is still talented enough to be a top team in the Eastern Conference, and I think when healthy, they're still going to be a team that you have to look out for to come out of the Eastern Conference. I don't think Jason Tatum's going to fall off like that. I think he's that good. I think he's proven that he's that nice. I think he had a bad finals performance, but Jason Tatum isn't a player that I just think is going to fall off the face of the earth. Like, he's shown us that he's that good. There's no reason for him to just just be trash. I don't see that. But yeah, they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be fine. Just getting past the situation. Again, that suspension with Ime Udoka, we don't know what that means, but we'll find out in the near future. With our next hot take, we have, if Chris Paul wins a ring this year, he's going to be higher than Steph Curry all time.
Okay, now you're chasing clout. That's what we're not going to do here, okay? Next.
So, if Curry, actually, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Next hot take. The Cavs will be a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. No, it's too early on the Cavs. I think the Cavs, well, no, it's too early. I think the Cavs, again, have one of the better, younger cores in the game right now. D. Mitch, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. That big four is going to be together for like the next 3-4 years for sure. I think over the years to come, as they figure out what they need to add onto their team, if it's wing depth, if it's finding another backup, it's just things to get them acclimated to win a championship. It's going to take them some time. I think they're going to be talented in the regular season. They have talent, experience of knowing what you need to win a championship. They don't have that, and they're gonna have to figure that out. They may shock us and just become great. Like this, Evan Mobley might turn into KG. Who knows? But I think right now, a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference is kind of wild. I don't see that happening at all right now. Our next hot take, we have James Harden will be a consensus top 10 player this year when the season ends. So I actually think James Harden is actually on a mission again this year. You looked at him, you said he's lost a lot of weight. You see what the Sixers have done, adding all these pieces around him and Joel Embiid. And I said it before, for them to have a great season, it's gonna fall on the back of James Harden, primarily him and Joel Embiid being healthy. If Embiid's healthy, they're gonna be fine. When we look at James Harden back in 2021, when he first got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, he was playing like an MVP. And I think that if you can get back to that same level where he doesn't have to score 30 a night, but getting everybody acclimated. I'm talking about Tobias, Maxey, playmaking and scoring efficiently and putting pressure onto the rim. I think the explosiveness is important for James Harden because you could see in last year, the health wasn't there, and that explosive quick first step that James Harden is known to have, it just wasn't there. And I think that what we've seen from the workouts and the Rico Hines runs, what he's told reporters and how he's been working on his body, if he comes back and he looks like anything close to how he first looked back in 2021, the Sixers are going to be a very dangerous team. And I think James Harden, talent-wise, is easily in the top. Is arguably, you could argue being a top 10 player. Playmaking, the scoring ability, the offensive IQ. James Harden, it falls on James Harden this year, literally, for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I've said it before. Hopefully, hopefully it goes well because I think James Harden knows that's all he needs left for his career. Championship. That's it. He knows it himself. And our last hot take, of course, we got to make a finals prediction in October. Come on now, it's 10 months. We got to make one. We have the Warriors will repeat as champions. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think this is not a hot take. It's not a hot take at all, but I think the Warriors right now are the favorites to win it all. I looked at their entire team again at Media Day, and I said, you know what? This entire team is still deep. I look at DiVincenzo, JaMychal Green. You look at the improvement of having James Wiseman back. Looney now having insane confidence. Wiggins, Poole having insane confidence. A healthy Klay Thompson. Steph. I think of this team when they won in 2015. And then in 2016, they came out and just punched everybody in the mouth. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I will say that this team has a lot of pieces. And like I said before, it's early, but that's my championship favorites right now. But if you guys enjoyed the hot takes, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, turn that post notification bell on so you don't miss a video. More videos on the way for season starts. Again, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay on beat.